What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Zero Cred Podcast, where we have zero credibility, but a lot of opinions. I'm Brian.
He is Brian.
He is Warren.
That's what?
You're Warren.
You are John.
I am John.
What the fuck?
Now, you guys say something to Warren.
Trash.
Damn, the love.
He didn't say you had to be happy.
You just said say something.
That is true, yeah.
I talked to Warren for an hour already.
Yeah,
you
guys did. I got to come in on the tail
You're
end
gonna
of
be the only one talking.
I got to come in on the tail end of the Game of Thrones episode. It was really surreal watching you guys do your thing while I was.
You were gonna say it was really good. I'm like, you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it. Yeah, you're right. I didn't, and I will. I'll listen to it.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I'll listen to it and I'll give it a bunch of thumbs down.
It's still the same podcast.
Yeah, I know. It was cool. But it was neat to see. It was neat to watch you guys do the thing instead of actually just being part of it. It's kind of cool.
Right.
I just sat in back and ate chili dogs. Y'all didn't notice, but I'm really proud of how I did it. I walked up, eating a chili dog, finished it, left, came back eating a chili dog, and you guys didn't see it. You didn't really see it. I was hoping it was going to be like, yeah, watch me finish one, then glance up, and all of a sudden I'm eating a whole other chili dog.
It grew.
Yeah. But this episode is basically just going to be pretty much just a news episode. These are some of the headlines and some of the things that have happened through the course of the last week that we got together.
Really revolving around Star Wars.
Really revolving around Star Wars. You said it.
Can you say that 5 times fast?
No, I can't. I know my capabilities.
I think you can.
Well,
you got this.
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay, so he's like, I ain't even gonna try. But yeah, a few days ago, the Star Wars Episode 9 teaser trailer dropped, and they called it a teaser, but it's a trailer, man. It's like 2 minutes of awesomeness.
A trailer to me has to show story, and this does not tell you anything about the story of the movie.
That's true. It doesn't.
So that's where, because you're right. They always throw out the names: teaser, trailer, TV spot. They're all just trailers. Like you're showing us things from the movie. A real teaser is like 15 seconds long, and it just lets you...
See, that's the way I always kind of do it.
Ghostbusters, that's a teaser.
That's a teaser, yeah. That's a teaser.
This is a trailer.
This is a trailer.
But a real trailer for me lets you know what the movie's about, and this is just random shots of the characters we already know.
Well, the thing about Star Wars is it's such its own machine and its own entity. They don't need to show you nothing of what it's about, and everybody's gonna go see it. So I mean, like, we may not get. I mean, I imagine every trailer we get from now on is still gonna be kind of cryptic,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because I don't see them. They don't need to show us anything, Well, obviously they need to show us something, but they don't need to get into too much details at all. We're gonna go, even if we hated The Last Jedi, we're gonna go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What is the first topic though, John?
That movie, Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh well, we are already on.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out that I didn't point out when we watched it together. You guys pointed out the line, every generation has a legend.
A legend, yeah.
That line is in the Phantom Menace trailer. The original trailer for Phantom Menace, it says that line.
Yeah, it does.
That's where they pulled that from. So it's like that was the beginning of the Skywalker saga, and now
then 20 years later,
we're at the last,
which is more than 20 really, but it's been 20 years since Phantom Menace came out.
Right.
But it's been a lot of years since the first one came out.
Episode 4.
It's been a lot of years that I've been alive. Because I was born in 1977. What year did Star Wars come out? 78?
Hope came out in 77.
77?
I think so.
So I'm as old as Star Wars.
Oh, you...
I was born in a galaxy far away. I was born a long time ago.
All I'm hearing is old.
Old, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was 78 for some reason. But yeah, you got to be right.
77,
it's 77. Yeah, you got to be right. I knew you were right.
I have the poster.
You do have the poster.
I don't think it says the year on the poster, but I do have it.
So. It doesn't. It looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a good poster.
So,
I don't know how I feel about the trailer, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That just deflated the shit out of me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but...
No, that's okay.
But I think it is because, you're right, it is a teaser, and we just don't know anything yet. And so I'm like, cool. I'm seeing the same people I've been watching for the past 5 years, and here's just more shots of them. We don't know anything.
We are seeing one thing that I've been waiting for, and that's Lando flying the Millennium Falcon.
Okay, yeah, we haven't seen it
That's
yet.
fucking awesome. When I saw him on the trailer, I was just like, yes!
Yes.
So
That is finally because everybody's like, well, he wasn't in The Force Awakens, so maybe he's gonna be in The Last Jedi, and they're like, nope. They're like, okay, is he gonna be in the next one? And so that is confirmed. We finally have all the OG cast back in the movies.
yes. I like the way they did that. I do. I actually like the way they did that. They didn't bring everybody in all at the beginning. Right. They kind of staggered it, and it felt good the way they did it. So, I mean, part of me was like, man, I really wanted Mark Hamill to be in more of The Force Awakens, right. But then, but when it was satisfying though to see at the very end, the movie end with him,
right?
So, well, what are your guys'? Who's the voice that's talking at the beginning?
I thought that was Luke.
See, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's Luke. I'm pretty sure it's Luke. There's a couple of lines that are delivered that it's definitely Luke. I was like, it's got to be Luke. And obviously, it ends with the laugh, which is got to be Palpatine, right? So, what do you think? What are you guys' thoughts?
That's one of my, I don't know about reasons why. That's one of the reasons why I don't know how I feel about this trailer.
Because it's got him dropping pins and shit.
I don't need that.
Okay.
Well, that story was already over.
Was it?
To me, it was.
Okay.
Wasn't that one of like the biggest like debates though? Was
what?
Like with if he was dead or not?
I mean, he seems pretty dead and.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
But with the Force, is anybody ever really dead?
Right. And I'm not like a super Star Wars buff. Like I'm not about to come out here and give you analytics and lineage.
Right.
But
lineage.
But I knew that was one of the big things. Like, oh, is the Emperor dead or is he not dead? And then they're like, no, he might be dead, might not be dead. Like that could be a Force thing happening.
Yeah,
he's just like, you came to where I died. Ha 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 ha.
If he survived the Death Star crashing on that planet, that's a bad motherfucker.
And that's what we don't know if he survived or if he's doing some sort of Force manipulation.
I would imagine it's probably what you just said. Is he's probably, right. I guess, I don't know what they would necessarily... He's become one with the Force.
Well, so here's some extra nerd shit. Siths can't be one with the Force.
See, that's what I was thinking.
They can't Force ghost themselves.
Right.
But they can attach their Force entity to objects. And so you have, like, Sith artifacts.
Right.
And so, like, that's what they think he's doing. But at the end of the day, I don't need it.
I hope
we had a character that was this generation's Palpatine, and then he died
in the fucking second movie. Yeah.
Well, let's just bring back Palpatine. I'm like, well, do we need that?
Yeah.
See,
he wasn't the equal.
See, part of me is agreeing with John in that sense because I think that there. Let's face it, The Last Jedi was a divisive film for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons is they created this mythos behind Snoke, right? Mm-hmm. Is that his name? Snoke? Yeah, I guess it's been so long. They created this mythos and made him out to be just this super evil being and super powerful being.
Right.
And then he gets whacked.
He just gets tricked.
Yeah, he does.
He never said he was smart.
He got
duped.
I guess so.
That's true. Yeah,
and that's also why I said, like, yeah, I mean, he wasn't that guy. Like he was
clearly
supposed to be that guy, but he wasn't.
But
so we're gonna bring in the real guy.
I'm kind of wondering though if when they turned the movie over to Rian Johnson, because obviously J.J. Abrams did the first one. He did Force Awakens. He wrote it and directed it, and then he hands it over to Rian Johnson, and this is what he did. And I'm wondering if, obviously, as divisive as it was, clearly J.J. Abrams was like, well, damage control kind of thing. What do we do? Where do we go from here? Where he wrote us to? Where do we pick up the pieces and what do we do? And I guess
It's called nostalgia.
yeah, and he's
Which is
reaching
what he
back
did.
to what he did
Yeah.
on the Force Awakens. Was he's hearkening out to the fans. I mean, like, all right, this
Right.
is what you guys. So it's very much probably going to be a fan service movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm not against by any means because I love the Force Awakens. But I'm also one of the rare people. I liked Last Jedi for all of its faults. I do enjoy the movie. I'm not blind though, and I'm definitely not blind when you showed me that fight sequence.
Oh, where they CGI how
Yeah.
Rey should be dead. Like,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. My thing with Star Wars is I'm a diehard, and
Yeah.
so I don't care what they do. I don't care what they make. I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna like it, even if I don't like it. Does that make sense?
No.
No, but I like it.
Yeah. So like the Last Jedi, yeah, it's not. They did
It's
a
a
lot of
flawed
crazy
movie.
shit in that movie.
Yeah, it's a
that-
flawed movie for
but-
sure.
I just like the fact that I can sit down for 2 to 2.5 hours and be in this universe. Even
Yeah.
if I don't
Okay.
like what's going on. Same thing with Solo. A lot of people are like, we didn't need that movie. I'm like, I like just being in this universe, seeing
Right,
this
yeah.
shit go down. If you don't like the actors or how the story was written, that's fine. But I want to be in the universe for 2 hours and have a good time.
Yeah.
And so even if they just completely ruin this last movie, I'm like, I'm still going to sit down and watch it with a smile on my face. That's how I feel about Star Wars.
I mean, if they completely ruin it, I might not be smiling, but I'll be watching it.
Well, that a lot of people feel that way about The Last Jedi.
A lot of people do. My
So-
brother-in-law is a die-hard Star Wars fan, and he hated that movie so much
Right.
that he put pen to paper. He made a list in a notebook of things that he thought were wrong with the movie. We're not talking about like it was pages, man. He picked every little thing apart.
And I think-
And bless him, man. I love it. I love talking to him about it because I'm a fan too. I wasn't as picky about the movie as he was, but I do understand where he's coming from.
Yeah. And I think that's what there's two types of diehards. There's
Yeah.
the diehards that are like, it has to be this way. And there's diehards that are like, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Because me growing up, in the generation I came up in, we saw Revenge of the Sith. It was like, well, that's it. There's no more Star Wars. Like, that's it. We're done. Like, 2005, I was like, well, I guess we'll never... I have these 6 movies that I get to love and a small animated show. And so then they came out, you know, I was an adult when The Force Awakens comes out, and I'm like, I have more childhood now.
Yeah,
Like,
it wasn't
they-
it a great feeling?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's coming back, and so that's, you know.
See, I got to experience that twice because
Right.
I grew up with
Right.
the original trilogy, and then
Yeah.
when Phantom Menace came out, I was like, oh,
Right.
more Star Wars.
And so, and I'm, you know, people trash on the prequels, and I'm like, I'm just happy to be here watching more Star Wars.
I like them less than I like the original trilogy, but I still find
yeah.
enjoyment in them.
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I gotta reach for that enjoyment at times, but
Episode 2.
episode 2 is pretty bad. Yeah, but I still find things about it that I do
Oh,
like.
yeah, for sure.
Episode 3 is probably, I think that's the best one out of the new trilogy. I know some people that really like Phantom Menace more.
I really like Phantom Menace.
see, there you go.
But
yeah.
Episode 3 is probably like the.
fight
It might be
sequence.
my favorite.
That
Actually,
fight
like, out of
sequence
all of them.
between
Yeah.
Anakin and Obi-Wan is fucking awesome in that
Right.
movie. That is so cool.
My favorite thing about Episode 3 is a lot of people consider the greatest villain of all time to be Darth Vader, and Episode 3 is like, here how he was made.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have the
exactly.
answer. But then we get into this generation of Star Wars, and we're finally coming to a conclusion to a story that has kind of been all over the place here and there.
It has.
I wish we would have had the same director on all 3 movies, and maybe it would have been a more enjoyable experience, even though I have really enjoyed the past 2 movies. But I think I have to hold my true opinions until we have like a story-driven trailer instead
I
of
got
a
you.
teaser
Yeah.
trailer, you know?
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. It's very fair.
But Rey having a lightsaber in a desert fighting a starship, I'm like, okay,
Fighting a
this is
TIE
gonna
fighter?
be cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is gonna be a cool
She
movie.
get ready to cut a TIE fighter in half.
I have a theory
Okay.
Oh,
that she was not fighting that TIE fighter.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories.
probably
There's,
dream sequence.
No,
dream
she was
sequence, training.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've heard the dream sequence, but I think she was training. I
Okay.
think she was learning how to flip and land on a TIE fighter because they're probably going to do like some kind of mission where they have to break in and leave, and then they're gonna be like, "Yeah, fly by out," and then flip on it, be out, drop in space. Because if she doesn't do it, then she's either gonna hit her and kill her, or she's gonna land on the top, but she can't get in. She's hanging. She dies in space. So maybe that's how she dies. I don't know. But
why I don't classify that as a dream sequence is because she has Anakin / Luke's lightsaber, and it gets destroyed in The Last Jedi. But there's a cross section on that lightsaber in the trailer where it's a cross section that's not on the original lightsaber, so it's been fixed,
It's been repaired.
and so that's why I'm like, yeah, this is probably either a real fight, but why would they show like that big of a showdown in the teaser? So it probably is some sort of training
or
sequence.
it's how the movie starts.
Yeah,
You know, Star Wars movies are known
she's
to
just
be
kicking
like,
ass.
clink, and then you're just like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, you're like, I don't understand.
So apparently there is not a big, but a decent sized time gap between the last.
That's what I've
Yeah,
heard.
they did
Yeah.
state that.
So
yeah.
she probably is a
Jedi.
badass. Like,
Yeah.
just like Luke Skywalker between
Who's been training
5
her?
and 6. You got all sorts of ghosts.
Yeah.
Luke is like Ultra One with the like he goes all out, and then you got Obi-Wan, Yoda, Anakin, Qui-Gon.
So I'll pose this question because this was something that I've noticed that has come up a lot, especially with this character of Rey, is the amount of like progression that she's had, and people are like, she should not be able to do some of the stuff that she's been able to do because she hasn't had any training, and I think that's a weird bias that people have because Luke did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he did. It's the
without
same.
training.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same.
Anakin did a bunch of stuff.
Anakin did a bunch of stuff without. Anakin did even more, and
like.
that's why I actually think I'm still holding strong on my belief that Rey is a child of the Force, just like Anakin was.
Right.
I'm still holding on to that because that solidifies a lot of the reason that she is so naturally strong, gifted with it.
Because a lot of the argument is like, oh, nobody taught her about the Force. She just knew.
Mm-hmm.
She was about to die, so she knew. And they were like, and then Kylo Ren was trained. He was trained in the art of the lightsaber and everything. I said, well, first off, his training wasn't done. It's number one. And then number two, he just got shot by Chewbacca, and we've already established that gun can shoot people miles.
Right.
And he just took it to the side and was like, all right, I'm going to go fight two people.
Yeah.
And Finn picked up this lightsaber and just fought with it. Nobody
But he's a
questioned.
trained soldier. So it's a little different.
He's not trained in the art of using a lightsaber.
Well, no, but
So I mean, but my point is that nobody complained about it.
right.
Like they were just like,
That's very
"Oh,
true.
that's cool."
You're right. Yeah.
And she did, and they were like, "Why would she know how to do that?" And I was like, "Who the fuck cares?"
I think nobody complained about Finn because he got his ass kicked.
He did.
And so
get his
they're
ass
like,
beat.
"Oh, he got fucked up. He should have been holding that lightsaber." And whereas Rey, I think the problem with Rey is like she kind of won, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Wait, well, you don't know how to do that."
Yeah, I understand. And my other breaking news: we don't give a fuck. No, but the other thing for me is like, whatever happened to the acknowledgement of just raw power?
Right.
Because Luke says that for a reason. Like,
Right.
I haven't seen this much just raw power, and the last time I did, it scared the shit out of me. Like, and I believe he was referring to Kylo Ren.
He was referring to Ben. Yeah.
And so it's like, if she has raw power, sometimes she's just gonna accidentally do stuff.
Right.
Like she has to stumble her way. I would rather see her stumble her way and accidentally learn how to do stuff than just be like, "You've trained, now go show me all the shit you can do."
Right. Okay.
Like, just be like, like I had to learn how to make somebody do what I wanted them to do when I was chained down to the thing in
Right.
The Force Awakens. And she
Yeah,
was like,
she tripped James
she-
Bond into letting her
and
out.
she was like, "Hey, let me out." And he was like, "If you don't, shut up." And she was like, "Okay, let me try this again." Whereas you see, like, Obi-Wan, I believe it was Obi-Wan, when he was like, "These are not the droids."
Yeah.
And so that was real easy for him. He was trained. He had been doing it. Where she had to be like, "Let me out." So I just was wondering, because I was like, I think that's going to show us a little bit more of her fine-tuning
Mm-hmm.
her
Right.
her ability, her raw power.
Okay.
That's my theory.
I also like, this has been, I guess, I don't know, confirmed, or it's been talked about from J.J. Abrams that, like, the main characters are going to be together and have an adventure in this story.
That's
Whereas,
so
like,
good.
Where, you know, because, like, Rey and Poe had never met until the
Hardly
end
at
of
all.
No, they hadn't met until the end of The Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because he's like, nice to meet you. I was like, oh, yeah, they've never...
Yeah, they've never met, yeah.
Like, and so, like, it'll be cool to have all the original, like, not original,
The new
this
heroes.
story's characters
Yeah.
all together in
Yeah.
this
Dream
story.
sequence.
That's
Yeah, this-
great. Yeah, and I'm
dream
looking forward to that.
Because there is a shot where they're all together in
Yeah.
the trailer, and it was looking at a broken Death Star.
Well, let's talk about this video game that
Yeah.
has been revealed.
Jedi: The Fallen Order, or Jedi Fallen Order, whatever.
Fallen
Fallen
Order, yeah.
Orders of the Jedi.
Star Wars.
Stairways.
That's that's the title of this game throws me off because it's Star Wars Jedi semicolon Fallen Order. Like,
Right.
there's a lot of
I think
Star
it's-
Wars Jedi
I'm
Fallen
gonna
Order.
assume that people are probably just going to refer to it as
Fallen Order.
that new Star Wars game.
So it's made by Respawn,
Titanfall. Apex
uh,
Legends.
Apex Legends, but also like EA is involved. So
Oh, that scares the shit out of me.
but
I have to make this. I have to say this. So I watched the video today, and I scrolled down through the comment section, and like the first 17 comments from this video game is Respawn going, "It's over. I have the high ground," and then it says EA, you underestimate my power."
that's great.
And I'm like, oh,
That's
that's
great.
so. I hope that's not the case, but it was just fun.
I mean, Respawn really is like the only company working with EA who's like, we're just making whatever we want. We don't
Yeah.
care what you want.
I'm so glad they have the audacity to be
Yeah.
like that, because if they God fuck I hate EA so much.
Well, they
I don't
have
wanna
the
support
ground.
them at
They
all.
have the high ground to stand on
Yeah.
because they've made
Their games have been
work.
successful.
Yeah.
Yes, their games have been
and
successful.
so right now Apex Legends making them all sorts of money
Oh,
with
yeah.
the loot crate. That whole system for them is working out,
Mhm.
and so this doesn't happen in today's video game market. It's a single player. You just buy the game. You don't spend money in it. It's not multiplayer.
Yeah, it's a story-driven game.
Just you just buy it and you play it by yourself.
I appreciate that so
Yeah,
much
that's-
too.
That doesn't happen today.
Not really.
So that'll be interesting. If we want to get into the meat of the story of the game.
Well, I'm gonna be buying it when it comes out for sure.
Oh, for sure. Did the trailer have a?
In November 13th or 15th or something like that.
Oh,
It's in November. I
okay.
think it's November
Okay.
15th.
Interesting.
I don't remember.
So
Warren is a
basically,
little doped up. He had his wisdom teeth removed.
the end of the year is
Star
revolving
Wars.
around Star Wars.
Yeah, this whole year, really. This whole year,
No,
really.
it's not. Don't do that to Avengers.
Yeah, the first year, the
Oh,
first
yeah, that's
half
right,
is.
you're right,
Can't
you're right.
believe you
I
just did that to
apologize.
Avengers.
Oh my God.
You apologize.
I did. I'm sorry.
Do it when everyone can hear it.
I'm sorry.
Say it like you mean it.
Very sorry.
Okay, there you go.
You throw very in front of something.
Execute orders. No.
So I don't know the actor's name. The guy who is in the game, the cinematic, he's the main character. He's in Shameless, and he plays the Joker in the Gotham show.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know his name.
I can't remember his name either.
But everything from the trailer it's not gameplay footage, but it's in-game engine.
I refuse to believe that ever again, because they said the same thing about Anthem, and that was not what was delivered to me.
That wasn't what was delivered, but it was using the game's engine. They just dialed it back because they had to make a better game.
And they made a worse one.
Exactly. But I think this stuff is pulled directly from a finished game.
I trust Respawn more than I do EA.
Yes. Well,
So-
we've seen how beautiful Apex is, so I have to imagine.
Apex
it's
Legends
in-
is a good looking game.
I haven't seen how beautiful Apex is.
You should see how beautiful it is.
Yeah, I haven't even watched Apex. I haven't seen it.
You should jump on and play with us.
That would require.
I haven't
me to have
played
the game.
it in so long.
It's free.
So
I didn't say I didn't about the price. I just said it would require me to. I'm just stating the fact.
You are saying facts.
You are also stating.
Cameron
Yes.
is
We're a couple honest individuals, aren't we?
the actor in the game is Cameron Monaghan. I think
Monahan?
Monahan.
Mongan.
What's it spelled? How's it spelled? What's it spelled? Is that a thing?
It's the redheaded guy right there.
Yeah, that would be Cameron Monaghan.
All right, and he's a good actor. I've watched all of Shameless. So.
I've seen him in Gotham, and I thought he was really cool in Gotham.
Right. But yeah, we finally have it's been a long time since we've had a Jedi-driven single-player Star Wars game.
Yeah, I think the last one was probably Force Unleashed 2, wasn't it?
That was like...
Fuck. That was back in the 360 days.
Yep.
Yeah. Man.
And
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Not that long.
Yeah.
And I think people are comparing this to Force Unleashed. You're just a good guy instead of a confused bad guy.
I liked I liked those first two games. What was his name? Star Killer?
Yeah.
Car Stiller.
Car Stiller? Car Stiller?
Yeah, those were good games. The second one felt like it was just the first one again.
It was kind of rushed.
Right.
Too.
But the first one as a whole was a good game.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so hopefully this captures the essence of being a Jedi game. So Warren and I talked about this a little bit earlier. My only it's just it's just nitpicking because you have to, is like I don't need more story from this era.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
The in between the fall of the Jedi and then the rise of Luke, that area, they're putting out a lot of content that revolves around that space and time. And I would have liked a Jedi story from an era that we've never explored.
That's
pre Phantom Menace, I guess. Anything before that.
Yeah.
After Knights of the Old Republic, there's a lot of time between there.
There is, yeah. You're right.
You could have just had any Jedi story in there, but I get they're really, they're going all out on their Star Wars content. So I get why they want to stay in this 50-year to 60-year gap between Phantom Menace and the current, Rise of Skywalker timeline. That they want to try to stay in there, but like it would have been cool if you just made a story from back in the day of just a Jedi Padawan type character, and you got to grow it. But you can't
please everyone.
Beggars can't be choosers, but
Well, the thing is they've canceled a couple of projects that looked very promising.
Right.
So I get worried when I say, okay, they finally got this game. This game's the one that they rolled with instead of canceling these other projects. So, man, I just really wish that EA didn't have that license.
Yeah.
I really do. But I believe I've read somewhere. I think that LucasArts is bringing back the LucasArts gaming company.
Yeah.
So they're reviving that. Hopefully this game is good, but hopefully it's the last that
From
EA
EA
gets to make.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would like another Jedi Knight Academy.
yeah,
That wasn't the greatest
there's a lot
game,
of really
like,
good
controls
Star Wars
wise,
games.
but
Like,
it was good.
have you guys ever played Star Wars Dark Forces? It's a really old PC game, but it's awesome. Like there was a lot of really, really good old Star Wars games back
other
in the day.
than the first two Battlefront games, Star Wars Episode 3, the video game, is to me
It's
ideal
awesome.
ideal Jedi game.
That's an awesome game.
From a console perspective.
Yeah, that's
And
an
it
awesome
had
game.
like a versus mode on there.
Yeah,
too.
because it was
Yeah.
like part you're a Jedi going through the story of Episode 3, part like fighter game 1-on-1, like Mortal Kombat, that style when you had the
side
Jedi duel.
scrolling.
And it was really cool.
Yeah,
That's a good game.
Yeah. And I haven't, other than some of The Force Unleashed, haven't played a game that really captured the lightsaber combat like Episode 3 did.
Right. Yeah, it's clunky in most of the other ones, to be fair, but there's still some good ones. Like Dark Forces is a shooter, and a lot of them didn't have anything to do with necessarily being a Jedi or anything, which is fine because there's so many other fun elements in the Star Wars universe, And like I said, Dark Forces, there's a sequel. Dark Forces 2 is good too. The Star Wars games for the Super Nintendo are freaking dope. They're hard as hell, but they're dope.
I mean, the first 2 Battlefront games from back in the day.
Yeah, from the first Xbox system.
I've put so many hours in Battlefront 2.
I like those games. I
ridiculous.
sucked at them, but I liked them.
Oh man, me and my buddy Eli and we would put it on the hardest mode, Elite, and do Galactic Conquest, where you literally have like an army and you have to go planet to planet. It's like a board game almost. The other team gets to move through, but if they land on a planet that you have control of, then you have to play out that battle. So you're playing this one story-ish mode for like 5 hours, and you have to do a lot of the battles over and over again. We would just play and play and play on the hardest difficulty, and I just haven't had a Star Wars experience that fun since then.
Damn. Yeah, and then the DICE gets a hold of it.
Yeah, and everybody's excited because it's like, oh, it's going to be beautiful.
And it
but
is.
It's just going to be an okay game.
Yeah, it is beautiful and okay.
Right.
But I will say that I actually do enjoy Battlefront 1 and 2 that DICE made. I enjoy those
they're
games.
fun games.
The poor Battlefront 2 didn't stand a fucking chance though when it dropped. And all that pay to win shit.
Yeah, and
basically
that's the thing about the Xbox and original Xbox and the 360 versions of Battlefront is that you didn't have to be online multiplayer. Yeah. Like you could just pop this game in by yourself and still have an amazing war story, really.
Absolutely,
I remember going to school growing up, telling my friends about the battles I had in a game by myself in my basement. And I just haven't had anything like that since. But
I remember sitting my kids down and saying, "Holy shit, I just got fucked up by 56 droids." Different experiences, you can see me and you.
Yeah. Hopefully, this Fallen Order game. I think it's going to be cool to actually see the aftermath, I guess, of Order 66.
Oh, yeah.
Because as much as we kind of have seen, we really haven't seen what happened directly after Order 66.
Right.
And so I think we're going to get a lot of that, because there's a part in the trailer where he picks up one of the little communication devices that has Sidious saying execute Order 66. So I think it's going to be that you're going to be putting a lot of pieces together and seeing what really happened after the Empire took over.
I think it does, and it looks good too. It looks really cool. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll be picking that up in November for sure.
Disney Plus has officially been announced. That we knew it was coming, but they released prices and shows that they're going to have and content and whatnot.
And what are those shows, John?
I don't know. Well, in the Star Wars universe, they're making the Mandalorian show, which everybody thought was going to be about Boba Fett, but it's not. It's just about some other Mandalorian armored guy, probably from the planet, because Boba and Jango Fett are not from there, I don't believe. They just have the armor. But, yeah, I don't really know what else the show's going to be. But from Jon Favreau, is that
Jon Favreau, yeah.
So it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome, because he has a very clean track record with making awesome stuff.
He's got a pretty good track record.
Iron Man.
He also directed the live-action Lion King.
Well, we haven't seen that yet. So.
He also directed the live-action Jungle Book.
Okay.
I haven't.
He also directed Cowboys and Aliens.
I did see that.
I don't give a shit what y'all say. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, that's a fun movie, but I wouldn't say that's like...
You will say that's a good movie.
Well, no, I'm saying it is a good movie, but that's... I think by the time Mandalorian comes out, I think we can say, The Lion King, Jungle Book, starting the MCU.
He did start the MCU.
Well, yeah, he directed it.
No, Stan Lee started the MCU.
I hate your face.
Yeah, November 12th, Disney Plus is dropping for $6.99.
Damn.
I think they had at the release they had an annual price of $70.
Yeah, it is,
which is
$70
cheaper. So if you just paid that,
that's what I'm gonna do.
Right.
Will there be commercials?
I don't know.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because $6.99 sound like commercials.
Yeah, but this is all.
It does, doesn't it?
$6.99 is a cheap price for a streaming service that is paying for their content. Disney doesn't have to pay for their content because it's their content. Does that make sense?
That is...
like Netflix.
You broke me. So
No, I know
processing it.
he's saying
and
like
you're
okay,
right. Yeah.
yeah, but
I'm
my
agreeing
point
with
is
you.
still $6.99 sound like commercials are gonna be there.
Well, I
For
don't.
just it might just be promotional stuff for
For
them,
them. Yeah,
but
yeah.
still commercials. Like the CW app is free, so I get why there is commercials.
Right.
But the $6.99 sound like commercials.
Hulu, their cheapest service still shows commercials, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
because
yeah,
it's cheap.
it's very fair. To
And so it
assume
sounds like
you might have to
commercials.
watch an ad, but you know what?
If it's Disney ads, then I'm, that's fine. If they're promoting their own stuff,
They better
that's
not
fine.
show me a commercial for like
Target.
Yeah,
Target.
right,
Yeah.
But I don't know what I was gonna say.
But they might show you a Disney commercial for Target if it has to do with like Disney toys.
I figured out my thought.
just
The reason
thought-
why I don't think there's going to be commercials is I feel like they would they would offer a price that would be without commercials.
Yeah.
But whereas
Yeah.
they've only offered the $6.99, or you can pay a yearly fee. So that's
I'm
why
paying
Maybe.
by the year.
Right.
CW does not offer any prices.
CW
Yeah,
is
CW is free.
a
Isn't it?
billion-dollar juggernaut of
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah,
Disney could just
Disney's
Disney could offer this for free, and they
They
still
could.
would not have any issues.
No, they wouldn't.
But
Well,
they're starting off strong with the, I guess, original content, which it's all original because it's
Yeah,
all Disney,
yeah.
but exclusive to Disney Plus. where
Yeah,
it's not-
because there's a confirmed. Well, the Mandalorian, obviously, that's
Right.
confirmed, and then you said there's. What did you say that there was another Marvel one? Because I told you that they got.
it's Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, they're making a Hawkeye.
You said the Hawkeye
Yeah.
show, yeah.
Mhm.
And then I read that there's a Captain. Captain. I hate myself.
Captain Man.
A Captain Soldier Winter America. There's a I can't fucking talk. A Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Oh, that was really painful. That's really rough to spit out. God dang! And I believe there's a Vision and Scarlet Witch show. And I think they are going to try and make a Loki show also.
That has been
Yeah,
confirmed.
I've heard a lot about that too.
That has been confirmed. Yes.
But
I just did all that. And you're like, but
no, those are all like a lot of those they're being worked on. Whereas like the Mandalorian, I think the other Star Wars Rebel show with the Cassian, is that how you say his name?
Cassian, yeah.
From Rogue One, and then the Hawkeye show. I think these are shows that they are going to have when it drops.
When it launches.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
maybe not all of them, but at
Okay.
least the Mandalorian show. I
The
know for sure.
Mandalorian one they did say is
Yeah.
going to be available. at
And
launch.
so, where I think like the Loki, Winter Soldier, and
In
what
the
was his name?
works.
Falcon.
Falcon, yeah,
Falcon.
Captain Falcon America.
Captain Falcon Punch. I think that stuff's all gonna be in the future, but still having the Disney library for $6.99.
That's huge right
Yeah.
there because I think they're gonna have stuff that is gonna be in the vault.
Yeah,
From
it's
the
all
vault,
everything.
It's all gonna
It's
be there.
everything.
Yeah. $6.99. Yeah, goodbye Netflix. I don't need it.
So yeah, I'm curious as how far the Disney reach will go when it comes to their service because they're not gonna put everything that came from the Fox on the Fox, came from the Fox Studios on the platform because they also will own the majority of. They do now own the majority of Hulu, so I think a lot of it's going to be on there as well, from the Fox side of things.
I think they're buying out the other portion of Hulu, so they're gonna own all of Hulu.
I can't remember who owns it. They own 60% now, so they
Yeah.
don't have to.
No, they don't have to, but I read that they're gonna trying to buy that out.
Yeah, I don't remember who owns the rest of
Disney
it.
is just they're going all in on
Everything.
Well,
Yeah.
then what's going to
capturing.
happen to like Cloak and Dagger?
What about it?
Because that's Marvel and that's Disney, right?
Yeah.
And then that's on Freeform. So when will they just air on Disney Plus like the
they'll
episodes?
I imagine they'll
Yeah.
probably
it'll still
continue
come on.
to air on
And then like
Freeform.
Agents of Shield, are they going to pull that from ABC?
I doubt it. I don't see any reason why they would.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how long those shows last. I mean, who knows how long? They already got rid of all the Netflix Marvel shows. Who knows how long these other random shows are going to last? before Disney's like, all right, we just need to make it our own, and they cut ties and restart.
Taking over the medium, man. They're
Oh,
taking
yeah.
over all of television.
Well, we've this is the first time that this big of a juggernaut is coming around.
Huge, yeah. It's huge.
They just keep buying stuff,
Buying
up.
everything, yeah. They're just buying everything up.
We can get off Star Wars for a second because they're having a Hawkeye show. Do we need a Hawkeye show?
Why not? I like Hawkeye.
Do we need a Hawkeye show?
I like Hawkeye.
He's-
I mean, I don't
it's
think
all
we
right.
need any of these things.
True. No,
Um,
we need Star Wars.
We need Star Wars. Yeah, we need Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, asking if we need a Hawkeye show would be like asking, do we need a Falcon and Winter Soldier show? Do we need a Black Widow movie? Like,
True.
we don't need them, but it's nice to have those things and have those characters represented, you know?
Right.
Because it's not going to be just Hawkeye. It's going to be Kate Bishop, too, as far as I understand correctly.
Yes.
So that's a totally different... It's not just him.
Old man Hawkeye.
I don't know. I just know they said Hawkeye and
That's
Kate
what it should
Bishop.
be.
So
Like-
So if that's who he is training in the in-game trailers, then this might take place after whatever ends up happening in in-game. This might be after all that.
Mhm.
maybe.
It's a fair thought.
Right.
Speaking
Or that's just his daughter.
Yeah, I
And
guess.
then she gets disintegrated.
of cinema graded.
I think the correct term is snapped.
The snap-a-magated.
the snap-a-graded.
I saw it's very random, but I saw this post on Pinterest the other day, and there was a picture of Tom Holland.
Standing on the train with his holding his mask, like the original from Homecoming picture, where he's just standing there,
And it has Ryan Reynolds Deadpool painting him. And so it's the picture of him standing there with the suit on, but on the painting it's just a pile of dust. It was really funny.
That is funny.
pretty funny.
Comcast owns the other 35% of
Okay, there you
Hulu.
go.
So if they are trying to buy all of Hulu, that's who they got to buy from.
Well, that won't be hard.
Go get him. Go get it, Disney.
Right. But yeah, that would be. They would have two streaming services.
And then they would own all of Hulu.
Yeah.
And then there would be no reason to have Hulu.
Well, yeah, but Hulu,
Well, yeah.
Hulu has a different purpose.
Yeah, but if
though.
you don't watch anything already on Hulu, there'd be no reason to have it.
I have
Oh,
Hulu
yeah,
for free,
yeah,
and I don't
right.
want to.
I have Hulu for really cheap.
Yeah.
That's all. Though.
I have it for whatever I pay for it.
I have it for free because it comes free with Sprint.
Oh, so you are suffering.
No, I don't ever. I've never installed the Hulu app on any.
But you have
device
Sprint.
ever. Oh yeah, I'm suffering. I'm not gonna have Sprint for fucking long. I can tell you that much. They pissed me off last week. Woo, shit.
Well, also, if I'm not mistaken, hearing that Defenders, all those characters are getting full reboots.
Yep.
As
For
different
different characters, as far as I know, for Disney Plus.
It's so weird.
It's so unfortunate.
But
It is
I
unfortunate.
believe that's what I saw.
But it's
so.
the only thing I don't get about it is like it's already established that those are in the MCU. So then you're gonna reboot it, but then what? I mean, I don't get it.
We don't know how they fix the snap, so
Right.
who knows what the fuck's going
I guess that's true. I mean,
Like, they might fix the snap,
we
and
could-
like people might come back and not even be the same.
Well, we could come back from Endgame having the X-Men in the, we just
Mhm.
don't know.
I know that I believe the next big thing that Marvel is going to try and do is they're going to try and this next generation of Marvel movies is going to lead up to Secret Wars.
Yeah,
what
I
I
heard. The Russo brothers they're like, yeah, we're gonna get to the Secret Wars eventually. So that's cool.
So the Secret Wars would be a way for them to reboot everything because that's what Secret Wars does in the comic books essentially. So they can reboot all of it, recast like new Iron Man, new Captain America, recast and do all that shit.
Yeah,
It's kind of a smart way to go, honestly, because these people can only play these characters for so long.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, how long did Hugh Jackman play Wolverine? Like
17,
almost, yeah. So it was
18 years?
close to 20 years though.
right.
And now that being said, he still looks good. He could still do it.
Yeah,
But do you want to?
Yes,
Well, he doesn't.
I don't care.
I want him to.
well, he doesn't, but he does, and now they have a reason to do it because he said he would only do it if he could be in the MCU, and now he can because they own it. And so let's get him on the phone.
Settles it. We're getting another Wolverine movie.
I just don't see why not. We'll see what happens after Endgame.
Yeah,
but
he's gonna show up. He's gonna show up in that movie.
If he just walked by, like they didn't acknowledge him or anything, he was just in the back.
Oh, that's an extra $20 million in ticket sales right there. They did confirm while we're talking about Endgame, we're at a thing, and it is confirmed that this is Stan Lee's last cameo in the MCU.
See, and I thought that he had one for Far From Home.
Far From Home.
And maybe he did. They just aren't going to do it.
Yeah,
they're just going to call it good on Endgame.
Yep. So
it kind of makes sense.
One last time to see the man.
If I could turn back time.
Well, what do you guys think about what we got going on news-wise? Let us know in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter at ZC_podcast, Facebook at Zero Cred Podcast, and make sure if you listen on iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating, maybe write a review. That really helps us out a lot.
If you are listening to this and you like Game of Thrones, Warren and I did a separate thing where we're talking about Game of Thrones and the new season, so go check that out.
Yeah, it'll be on the same channel.
Yeah, it's just a Game of Thrones side episodes.
Yeah, I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Trash.
Yeah, I know. Everybody tells me that. They're like, why the fuck don't you watch Game of Thrones? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have a reason for that.
Real quick, the last night's episode was HBO's highest rated thing ever.
Really?
Yeah,
like
17.9 million, something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like it was
HBO's older than me.
A million more people than
I think
season 7's premiere.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
and this is season 8, right?
Season 8, the final season.
It's the final season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, yeah, I know nothing about game. I know people die. That's it. I say, like, everybody's just like, well, don't get attached to anybody if you start watching it. And I'm not gonna lie. So all those statements have kind of encouraged me to not watch it.
Right, you're like, I don't want to. Why would I?
Yeah. So because that's kind of why I stopped watching Walking Dead.
Right.
Because I have like the first 5 seasons of Walking Dead on Blu-ray, and I haven't watched it since. I haven't even finished season 5.
That's kind of how I was. I got to like 5, maybe season 6, and I'm like,
everyone keeps dying.
I'm just done.
I'm tired of. I mean, it's not that I'm tired of watching people die, but I'm tired of watching people die.
I guess if I have to convince Brian or viewers to watch Game of Thrones, the difference between Game of Thrones and another show like Walking Dead where people die is there is a point to Game of Thrones. There is an end. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Whereas like Walking Dead, you're like they're just writing.
Yeah.
To have a show still on.
Yeah,
Whereas
absolutely.
Game of Thrones, it's kind of like Breaking Bad in a way. Where like
right.
there is an end, and we're gonna get there.
Breaking Bad was fantastic.
Yeah. When they started making Breaking Bad, they started it with a 5-season plan, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
And
you can tell that it was planned out because everything was executed so well.
And that's how Game of Thrones is. So that's where I would
see. I started reading the books, the Game of Thrones books, and I stopped reading them about an hour in.
Didn't get very far.
No, I didn't get very far. I'm sure that guy, it was George R.R. Martin or George R. Martin, whatever. I'm sure he's a fantastic writer, but there was a portion in the first book, obviously, because I didn't start at any of the other ones. He was talking about a wall for about 2.5 pages.
Well, it's the wall,
and it was the most boring thing I ever read.
He's
exactly what this wall looked like.
He's very descriptive.
Oh, very descriptive. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, okay, I'm going to start reading this Song of Ice and Fire or whatever it is. It's like Game of Thrones, Song of Fire and Ice or whatever. And I started reading the first book, and an hour later I was like, fuck it, I'm done. I was reading on a tablet. I closed my Nook. Which is not as fun as closing a book because you can slam the book, but I didn't want to break my Nook, so I was just gently push the power button. But when I set it down, I was like, fucking Christ. Oh man. Yeah. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying Game of Thrones. All right. Thank you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.